Oh my
We're
gosh, it
live.
happened so quickly. Good morning, everybody, or happy noon if you're on the East Coast. It's the Daily Whatever Show. I'm Lawrence Winterman.
I'm Dana Dubois. That's my best friend.
That's my best friend.
Lawrence, I
Oh,
feel like
look, I
it,
have the studio where I can see where you are in both places. You're that way for me and that way on portrait.
I'm just going to say
Yes, because
this other
I'm
person here
godlike.
is my
I'm
best friend.
omniscient and omnipresent.
I'm so happy to see you. And Lawrence, this week has been so frenetic. I feel like we have barely connected outside of our podcast, which
Yes,
people
frenetic
laugh
indeed.
when they're like, you talk to Lawrence for 6 hours a week on your podcast? And I'm like, I, I talk to him a lot more than that. They're like, how do you still have stuff to talk about? And I'm like, we have very full lives. We gotta
Right.
tell you.
There's lots of stuff going on. Are you not paying attention? There's all
There-
kinds of things for us to talk about.
Personally and professionally, there is never we could we could we both like soup and we could talk
Right.
about
We could talk or not talk.
not talk about
We both
forever
like
and
soup.
never run out of things not to talk about and talk
Yeah.
about. Lawrence, I saw Wicked 2 finally last night, Wicked for Good.
Oh, I have still not seen Wicked 1, I must admit.
Really? Oh my God. Well, the first one was awesome. I freaking loved it. I'm gonna play with my light. I have been looking forward to this for a year. I've been like, oh, I have to wait a whole year. And I saw the play, but years ago. So I didn't, and I read the book back in like the 90s. And, my Swiss cheese brain, like I loosely knew the plot and what would happen, but not the full thing. And so I was so excited for this film. And it breaks my heart to say it just wasn't that good.
Uh-oh.
Is nowhere near the caliber of the first one in terms of the storytelling. And I mean, of course, they're amazing singers, but just this, other than For Good, the songs are just not as good in the second half. And
Ouch.
yeah, if anyone else has already seen it and wants to talk about it, I feel like I need like a little support group because I don't see a ton of movies, but I was really excited about that one. I'm also very excited that the start of season 5 of Stranger Things happens on Thanksgiving because that's been like a multi-year wait.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes,
That
the,
one is definitely and it's coming to an end, right? It's the final season of Stranger
it's the final
Things.
one. Yeah.
And it
So
feels like, it feels like a generational. No, that's too big a word. It's definitely a thing, though.
yeah, it's definitely a thing. And yeah, I thought instead of jumping into like the crazy news, which we're going to get to next, I would start with a very quiet entertainment focus of didn't love didn't
I'm
love
sorry to
Wicked.
hear that.
Forget. It's okay.
That's
It's
that's
not a
going to go
biggie.
over badly in my family because my family adores Wicked, and
No one wants the wicked. I mean, it's hard to have
yes,
a banger that's bigger than No One Wants the Wicked. The
right.
song just like fucking rules. Hold on, I'm opening us up here. Okay, I am in the chat. Let me say good morning to all the fine folks. Um, I'm interested to hear what they think. You should definitely watch the first one. I mean, you should see them
I
when
should see
you
them.
have
I,
time and
I do know
inclination.
that I'm missing out.
And the costumes are still spectacular, and Jonathan Bailey is still super hot. I have to admit, when he and Elphaba finally, have get together and have their love scene. First of all, they're singing. It's really hard to take a musical to a film sometimes because there's a way you do things on a stage, right? Where you're bombastic out, that in a film can be intimate. The camera comes in and it's like them being intimate for the first time, but they're singing at each other.
Right.
And it made me laugh, which I don't think was the intent of the scene. This, especially the part when he's like really up close to her and he's singing like la, like kind of up at the top of his register. I was like,
Right.
that's
You're
not
like,
sexy.
no, that would not be hot. That would actually make my eardrums kind of, cringe. Like, don't
And
do
I was
that.
just so distracted by the fact that I was like, you're both very gay. This is not for real. They're too famous now. And so it shouldn't distract me. They're both great actors. They had good on screen chemistry. But when they actually started, like kissing and taking some of their many layers off, I was like, oh, you guys, that's not going to happen.
Right. Come on. We
And
all
there's
know
this
that's not
terrible
true.
line that they repeated twice where he tells her that she's beautiful or pretty. I don't remember which word it is. And she says, you don't have to lie to me. because she's green and stuff. And
Right.
instead of him being like, "You're the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life," he was like, he said something like, "It's all a matter of looking at things a different way." And I was like, "That's rude."
Right. Honestly, that is not romantic, sir. That
Not
is
hot. Not hot at all. Oh my gosh. And one more funny story before we go to the news. Um, an online suitor, I have an online dating profile. Seemed super great, like very
newsflash,
full.
everybody. Dana has an online dating profile.
Yeah. So seemed I was like, looks cute, but like more importantly, has this like vivacious, overflowing profile of things. And we matched and started writing, and he was like, burned haystack dating method, a little too like, he called me a sexy girl, and I was like, the feminist killjoy in me is going to tell you that I don't respond to girl. So, but I was like, I'm going to let that slide, whatever. And then he suggested like, let's text like out of the app, and I was like, okay, because I have a burner number for that. And I intentionally wrote him from that number and just said hello in his name. And he just wrote back hi. And I was like, oh, hey, because, and then he was like, Emily or Dana?
Oh no.
Right? And I was like, sir, you are too stupid to date.
Right. Yeah.
Too
I'm
stupid to date.
sorry. You've just disqualified yourself.
And then he
No,
kept
thank you.
writing. And then he was like, I don't know why I just wrote Emily. Who's Emily? My other girlfriend? LOL. So apparently Emily must have been clearer when she wrote back. So he knew that I was not Emily, and then
Right.
tried to cover it up. And I was just like, my dude, I haven't blocked him only because I want to see how much he flails. Because we almost have our fun.
Right. Yeah. Potentially you could do a whole Brook Tea Garden thing, right? Like you could,
Oh, that's the dream, isn't it?
right.
I,
Yeah. Isn't
I,
that the
I,
dream?
it is the dream. Speaking of dreams, watch this segue. Did anyone dream that Donald Trump would be hot for Zoran? Did anyone dream about that?
I mean, I feel like it's not as
Yeah.
surprising. Like, here's the thing. Donald Trump, obviously entirely ego driven, entirely driven by his own personal wants.
Yes.
Do- Zoran Mamdani has something that Donald Trump has always wanted and never had, which
Yeah.
is the
Oh,
love of New York City, right?
true.
Like, Zoran Mamdani has basically wooed New York City off of its feet.
True.
And so in Donald Trump's little world, that makes him like the sexiest man alive, And so
I like that.
I think he's
I,
looking at Mamdani and he's kind of like, wow, this guy could get New York City and I never could.
but you think that would make him bitter? And I'm sorry that my dog is losing her balls over there. I don't know how loud that's coming through, but yeah, I didn't watch it. I just saw the photos and I've been reading the commentary, and I'm like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. But I think it was Frederick Pogue who posted like, "Have you seen Zoran's wife? Obviously, he's a charmer. Right? The man
It's a good
has
point.
riz. There's no denying."
Yeah,
So
he's got Riz for sure.
yeah, and that whole like, is he a fascist? And Trump's like, you can go ahead and just say it. Like that's actually pretty funny to give the horrible man his due. That's funny.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you have thoughts about what that means. Are the folks who are the most left leaning who supported him gonna like come out with their fangs bared because they're like, "Arr."
Absolutely. I mean, I
That's what
think
Ogre
that
thinks.
the MAGA hardcores are going to look at that experience, going to look at that, interaction in the Oval Office, and yeah, I think it's melting their brains. Like I think that
Totally.
I think that they're right now they're absolutely flailing, right? Like they hate Marjorie Taylor Greene so much that they threatened her and she's quitting Congress,
That's
and
what we got to talk about that next. That's wild.
and and they hate Mamdani, but somehow now Trump likes Mamdani. Like it just doesn't,
Right.
they're the not sophisticated processing mechanism that exists in the brains of MAGA people has got to be overheating and melting down right now because like there's just not, it doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense.
Mm. Well, when you're trying to follow the whims of a madman with dementia, It's going to take you to some weird
Right.
places, MAGA. I'm pretty sure you figured that out already. But I think it's probably a net good. I think it makes Trump look weak and erratic with his base. Like they're going to have a hard time doing these mental machinations to try to justify why it happened. But time will tell, right? I don't know. Yeah, Natasha in the chat just said, but then you have us hard progressives who are like Zoran, do not engage. It made him look real good that he charmed him. I
Right.
think like that was a superpower play.
Honestly, I mean, like I do not love that he went to go meet with Trump. I do love that he ended up kind of looking a little bit like, the golden, I don't want to say boy, the golden boy, even though that is a well-known phrase, but like the golden person going
Yeah,
and charming Trump. It definitely, makes him look like he's got mad mojo, which he does. He clearly does.
Mad
Um,
Mojo.
so yeah,
Yeah, there were so many things this week that I was just like, seriously, like I'm like, okay, that happened. Marjorie Taylor Greene quit. I really hope, as a parting gift, she owes us a nice read on the floor of all of those implicated in the Epstein files. She has all the names from the victims, right?
yeah, yeah.
Are we
Well,
going to get that? Do you think?
yes, we're gonna get the full list. Like here's the place that I've ended up. Thanks in part
Okay.
to Ellie Leonard, who of course we all love and adore. Um, I I think that there are enough copies of the names in places that we are going to end up for sure with the full list. Um,
Not
you
a
know,
redacted list. Not the.
so here's what I mean. Ellie has said this, and I think this is probably right. That is, if they release a redacted list, right? Like if Trump and Bondi and whoever ends up releasing a list that names have been left out of, there are enough people who know the full list that they're going to be like, you forgot
Excuse me,
these
second.
names.
Yep.
Yeah, like excuse me, pardon me, where are these names?
Yeah.
And I think that we're at a place where uh, between the women themselves and enough other foreign intelligence agencies and sort of backups and backups of backups that there are
Right.
multiple lists out there. What's infuriating is, according to Ellie, there are people out there who have copies of the list who are holding on to it, hoping to profit off of it somehow. That you
Oh,
know,
oh, no,
like
no, no.
Michael Wolff and
Oh,
purportedly
that's
Virginia
terrible.
Giuffre's. There's somebody in France who has a copy of the list.
I saw
Uh,
that France has the list, and I was like, "Viva la France!"
yeah,
Really, why
Vive la
France? I
France.
don't know.
Yeah,
I do not know, but I am not mad about it. Not mad about it at all.
I'm not mad that they're backups. I'm mad that there are people who have the list who aren't just sort of being like, you know what, I've got the list. Here it is. They're hoping for a book deal or some, I don't know, TV appearances or something.
Gosh.
Um,
Yeah,
and
that's so wrong to be profiting in any way off of that. I am very ready to have a happy surprise in this area. Like, just it's time to move forward. And ugh. Um, we do have a very special guest joining us today. Um, Corina Zappia. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. That's going to be my very first question. Is she
he's not
here?
here yet.
Okay, she did message me and ask. So let me, Lawrence, you talk while I go message. So,
Okay, I
but
sent
you
her
sent
the
her the
link.
link.
Yes. But tell her to go look at her DMs because she has to click a link to accept the. Oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. It's too late.
What?
Just send her the link. Um, there are little technical difficulties to doing it in StreamYard, and if somebody doesn't click a particular link first before we go live, then their audience
Huh.
doesn't get invited.
Okay, this is weird too. It's not letting me message her. Like, I can't actually type in the box.
Hmm.
Substack chat. Let me close the window. Lawrence, why don't you tell a good story of something that's happening in the news or your life? Because
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
I
can
need.
tell the story. So I woke up this morning and found that someone So weeks and weeks ago, when you were away on a secret spy mission, Dana, Marlon Weems and I had a show where we talked about
Oh,
reparations. And I woke up this morning to discover that someone had commented on that chat and posted helpfully, he very helpfully posted a link to his article on why reparations are problematic. And Marlon responded and said, problematic to whom?
to whom? Yeah.
And he wrote back and said, for everyone. They're problematic for everyone, which, is just unfuckwithable in terms of a counter argument. Like, bravo, sir. Here's a nice slow clap. Oh, they're problematic for everyone. God, I can't, I don't have a comeback
Right.
for that.
Did he say why?
In his essay, which I did read, bully for him that he probably just did a search on the word reparations, found our show, dumped his link in without
So
watching
he's
the
just,
show,
oh my gosh.
and oh, Karina, you're on the live chat. Go to your DMs. I sent you a link for the StreamYard, and it is the second link in your chat from me.
Yay. This is so weird. I cannot direct message her anymore. I like it's just the box is there, but it won't let me in. Can I direct message anybody else? I literally can't, Lawrence.
Uh-oh.
I'm trying Elizabeth. I'm trying Samantha Page. Nope. Rosie the Resistor. I'm just going down my list. I cannot direct message right now.
That's
That's
very
so
weird.
weird. Okay,
Anyway,
Substack.
Corina or Karina, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, which certainly one of those was incorrect. Oh, here she is. Hello.
Yay!
Hey, oh wow, super close. I'm gonna step back.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy you're here, and I don't know what's happening.
Hooray,
I can't.
victory.
Oh my gosh. It is so good to have you here. Welcome. Is it Karina or Karina?
Karina. Karina's
Karina.
good.
Okay,
Yeah.
there we go.
We have known each other through like lots of channels, but I don't know that we've ever actually like
I feel like
talked.
we met like once, maybe once, like a while ago in Seattle, you
I
know?
know. I mean,
Yeah, I
we
swear at least once.
we briefly even worked at the same tech company,
Oh, that
right?
one will not be named, eh?
We never name the companies. It's not where I am now. I certainly don't name where I am now, especially. But yeah, I remember seeing your name there, and I was like, "You guys landed Karina? Like, wow, this must be a good place to work."
Oh, wow.
aside to audience, it was not a good place to work.
Yeah.
Neither of us are there. Thrilled to have you here today. I mostly though know your name through like The Stranger here in Seattle, our alt weekly. I know you as a writer
Yeah.
on culture. I have your bio. I also cannot pull up that window. I apparently just need to restart my Mac. It's
No
like
worries.
dying. So could you please go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience?
Sure. My name is Corina Zappia. I am I'm a freelance writer. I used to be a contributing food critic to The Stranger and a staff writer of The Village Voice back in the day. And now I
Rest in
work.
peace.
What?
I said rest in peace.
Rest in peace, man. Rest in peace. And now I work on a podcast called Don't Pretend We're Dead, which is interviewing women, just doing really cool work in the fields of art, science, technology, advocacy, food, literature, just lots of different categories. And yeah.
I love it. And you're no longer in Seattle. Tell everyone where you are.
I am in London. Yeah.
Wow, big change. Although
Kick
weather-wise,
me out, man. We'll see.
well, and Karina, I feel like for people who aren't in Seattle, they don't understand the fact that you worked at The Stranger, that you wrote for The Stranger, what a big deal that is, right? Like for us Seattleites, The Stranger is really the only newspaper in Seattle. Like the Seattle Times exists, but sort of off in this little pocket universe where only certain people pay attention to it. The Stranger is where everything good actually gets written in the city of Seattle.
Yeah, I mean,
Especially back in the day when you were there. Like,
Yeah.
oh, awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I was a freelance writer so I wrote restaurant reviews, food columns. I mean, it was what I love about The Stranger is what I loved about The Voice, which is just a chance for you to really develop your voice as a writer.
Yeah.
And just to be able to do kind of, I love writing about food, but I wanted to kind of approach it in a weird way, not in a like expert way, and just kind of have fun with it. So a place like The Stranger will let you do that, you know?
Hmm.
I love
I think
that.
yeah, I think I did one thing on like huge sandwiches. You know how the sandwiches in Seattle are just getting bigger and bigger
Oh
and
my
bigger and
God, I
bigger,
remember that.
right? And I was just like, my sandwich is gonna eat me, dude. It's huge. Like, I don't know. They have this like place that I think I forget, they had these huge names for all of their sandwiches, and they had like 20 different ingredients. London does not have as big. There's one place near me now that does have a mighty sandwich, but they need to get the bread a little crispier. If you're doing a mighty sandwich, you need
Right.
like
Mm,
You don't
something.
want it getting
it's got
soggy.
to be sturdy.
No, no. If you got like 20 different ingredients in there, you have to go. You have to go hard.
Remind me, which years were you at The Stranger?
God, what? Yeah, I wrote. I'm trying to even remember.
I feel like it overlapped with Three Imaginary Girls. Like, was it way back in the day, or was it
It
more recent?
was. No, I think it overlapped with Three Imaginary Girls.
Yeah.
Let me. I'm gonna just do a quick little.
When you need to Google your own
It
life.
Right.
yeah, it was around 2017, 2016, 2017 is
Okay, so it was
when
a
I
bit
worked
late.
on it.
I mean, Three Imaginary Girls is still up, but it was like
Yeah.
past the kind of the heyday. But I love what you said about like when you write about food, but it's not only about the food. That was kind of who we were about music. We weren't
Hmm.
critiquing the music on stage. We were documenting what it meant to be out and a fan of live music and at these shows. So it's yeah, a creative way of approaching a topic that can get a bit like I don't know, it can get very holier than thou if you're just like, no, but you have to really understand the mustards and the chord progressions.
Right.
And we're like, no, man, it's fun to eat a big sandwich. It's fun to go to a show. So documenting the
Yeah,
experience more than the intricacies of the, I don't know, did the yeast rise in the bread enough?
totally. And I'm not a chef. I'm not, a formally trained, um,
Right.
yeah, person. So I kind of wanted it to just to have a little bit of fun in it. And I think sometimes that's missing. I mean, I'd done restaurant reviews before that, and written about drinks a lot for the Voice in Time in New York. And I think it's kind of more fun when you just approach it out of some weird field, Like I always used to
Right.
have this dream of, just it's like, what kind of food would you like to sit in a big bathtub of? Is what I was
Ooh.
always thinking,
Ice cream. For
Ice
me,
cream, is
the
it
answer
ice
is
cream?
immediately ice cream.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but
Cold.
what if
I
it
would be
melts, of
cold, but
course? Yeah, you'd be pretty cold. That's a cold bath, man.
that's true. That's true.
Is it bad that my
I'll
thought
make
would
it
to,
about doing one of those ice baths and, but also eating as much ice cream as I could possibly have.
but what flavor ice cream?
I mean, I'm
Flavors.
imagining it's salt and straw, and it's just all the different flavors of salt and straw around me. It's a little, I get to eat, although blackberry jam and birthday cake, one of their July flavors, is the best ice cream of all time.
I have never had that, and that's in July. They have birthday cake in July, my birthday month.
It's yeah, it's
Mm,
blackberry jam. It's the berry month, and so it's
yeah,
blackberry jam and birthday cake, and it's incredible.
Okay, I'm coming back and visiting my family just in July. I came back in September and had their apple. I think they were doing many different versions of apple-based ice
yeah.
creams, and I was like, God, I miss this place. There's nothing. I don't know. They have lots of Italian gelato here, but
Yeah.
there's no salt and straw, man.
What
That
what
place is
what
so
brought you to
good.
London? Speaking of your new home,
I mean, I can't lie. I was talking about this with Dana, and I've kind of been working on this for about 20 years. I don't know. I'm like I've always loved, I'm a classic 80s Asian new wave girl. We all had the little asymmetrical bob and our black clothes and our small
Oh yeah.
town, like we would all hang out in that new wave pocket listening to our new order. So I think all the music, so much music I loved came out of England, and so I think it kind of came back to a lot of music love. And I mean, I think I just people ask me now, "Oh, do you go to shows?" And I just go on what they call like heritage tours, where I see
Oh
all
my gosh.
all the English bands that I always wanted to see when I was in like I just saw Suede and Bauhaus, so I'm just like
Nice.
Oh
trying,
my God. I
yeah,
need to come visit you because that sounds like a dream. I have seen
yeah,
Bauhaus.
yeah, dude.
Was Peter Murphy there? I've heard he's sick.
He literally, he wasn't looking so good when he was like straddling the microphone like a he does that whole like I'm crucified on the
Yeah,
microphone thing. But he was
as one does.
as you should. I was like, man, he's really like suffering. And the next day he like canceled the tour. So we had like it was
Oh
one night in
no.
Brixton and that was it. So yeah, I'm pretty much just living on my 80s like English band dreams right now.
Oh my God. Yes,
That's so
Suede.
amazing.
Oh man, dude, Brett Anderson, he's still got it, girl.
I bet. I bet. Oh my God. If you get to see Jarvis Cocker, let me know.
I
Because
saw him.
people,
I did see him last year. I mean, I am a short woman, and he was in Finsbury Park, and I need to see him in more of like a descending stadium. So I had to jump over, jump up a lot.
oh my God.
But I
I
mean, he's still like these frontmen, just these kind of frontmen of yore, like Brett and Jarvis. They really know how to play to the crowd. Still, I
oh,
can't really hold it.
I bet. And I mean, Jarvis Cocker, at least, I've seen, like, he still looks good. I mean, he looks older, but like, he's a handsome man. If
Right?
you looked up like Dana's type in the dictionary, you're like, oh, hey, and
I
British.
mean, same, girl. Like,
Right.
I saw a reading he did of like his book, Good Pop, Bad Pop, and he literally brought a bag of his trash on stage. It was like big South Bank Center. Like, I mean, a man who like pulls out different items of his like old stuff and just out of a trash bag and can talk about it for an hour, and everybody's like enraptured. It's the ultimate in moving the crowd, right?
So not his
Wow.
actual trash. It wasn't like,
Not his actual trash.
here's the bagel that I had.
Right.
I
That was
mean,
what I thought first too. Like I was on my way to the recycling and I just happened to get on
Right,
this
right.
stage.
I think it was his like maybe like old clothes, old notebooks, stuff like that. He had written a
Oh my
book
God.
about his old belongings, so but he brought it out in a
Wow.
trash
And he
bag.
was like, I'm gonna bring him, but they're in a trash bag.
Yeah, I think for the full effect,
You
clearly.
know,
But yeah,
would watch. Not gonna lie, would watch.
right.
I
We were there for it.
oh my gosh. So do you plan to stay overseas for like the duration, or do you feel like you're just sort of getting it out of your system before you come back home? How does it feel to be over there? Asking for myself because I have some curiosity of doing something similar.
My mom asks me all the time, "When are
Right.
you coming back to Seattle?" Um, I'm trying to, we'll see. We'll see how this work visa goes. We'll see how things go there politically. People
Right,
keep
right.
Mhm.
about
Yeah.
Farage getting in, and I don't know. I mean, yeah.
Do we really
I
think that's a thing that's gonna happen? Nigel Farage is gonna end up as PM or something?
I mean, people here are saying not if, when, which is quite frightening.
Oh, good Lord. I mean, can't
Yeah.
can't can't they look at Trump and just be like, yeah, that's gone really badly for them.
right. Do not want.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I feel like this turning kind of, what is it? And this is something I've wondered, and I've asked on my own podcast: is Trump just spreading his awfulness out on the world, or are these just pockets of, racism and fascism that are just creeping up in different areas, and then they're all communicating with each other and making each other
Right.
stronger? I have kind of wondered.
Right. Or the theory, or more than a theory, I think that, Russia and disinformation is really driving a lot of this, right? That,
Yeah.
the Russian propaganda machine is finding all of the racists and homophobes and amplifying them somehow. And yeah, I don't know. Man, that's crazy to think that Britain could be looking at everything that's happening and being like, you know what,
If
Nigel
we went in on
Farage,
that,
let's go with him.
I mean, they did Brexit. They looked and they were like, we have opportunity to like go live and work all over the space, or we could be like, nah, fuck that. They went with
Well,
that.
I think like, I was like, I have talked to friends. I'm like Brexit, but it's almost like there's this concentration on, for some reason, the immigrants are bad idea is really still winning even post Brexit here with like, oh, we're putting them in hotels. I think if they focus on immigrants and like, killing all rights for trans people, for some reason that will focus them on that. I don't know. It's kind of the same thing in the US. If you focus on this thing, you'll never notice like the bin fire happening over here.
Right.
Yeah.
The bin fire. Listen to you being all British.
Right. She's gone full British, everyone.
It's time to give my dog another treat. Come here.
Oh man, whenever I say crisps, I'm like, what?
Right. Are you going in the car park?
Yeah, right.
Well, Corina, so tell us about Don't Pretend We're Dead. And, the most recent podcast you have up is with the first Black trans barrister in the UK. And
that's a lawyer for our American.
Right. Translation, lawyer, attorney. Tell us about that. Tell us about the interview and tell us about the larger project that you're working on.
Yeah, she is amazing. It was Olivia
She's
Campbell
gorgeous.
Tanners.
You have a picture of her up there.
Stunning,
She's
right?
stunning.
She's stunning.
She's gorgeous, and her accent's beautiful. And I was listening to part of it last night and was like, wow, she's brilliant and courageous. But
yeah. Totally. I mean, that interview, there's a moment where probably, I don't know if you guys experience when you're doing a podcast, you're like, oh gosh, should I keep doing it? Should I, you talk yourself, like, it's easier to talk yourself out of it. And then you have that one interview where you're just sailing afterwards and talking to this person. I think I floated on clouds after that. And it was weird because I've been on like kind of a bad date before then, and then just had talked to this completely amazing woman. So my head was spinning between like the two experiences.
Fully relatable.
We're so completely like diametrically opposed. But yeah, she's amazing. She is the first Black trans woman accepted to the bar. In the UK, she always says that we know of, because we don't know if there were other trans women accepted. She was the founder of the first legal clinic that focuses on trans rights and non-binary rights in the UK, and she is also on the legal team because she's not busy enough. But she's also on the legal team that is representing Dr. Victoria McLeod, who is challenging the April 15th ruling in the Supreme Court, which basically said, with their Equality Rights Act, that a woman is defined as a biological woman, whatever that is.
Oh, yes. I remember reading about that in the UK. Yeah.
Yeah. So she is on the legal team bringing the case against that, appealing to the European Supreme Court on that. And yeah, so she's pretty amazing. And I think it was just, I think it's always hard, like, to ask sometimes some questions. I'm like, oh God, some hard questions. But I think she is really just, you're amazed at how strong and brilliant people are. And I think that I think my podcast is really just about, I started it, shortly after Trump came back in. And I think I was just really pretty depressed, as we all were. And it's the second woman who's gone up against him. And I think I just needed I think we're all just looking for a little bit of hope at the moment.
Yes.
And a place to just, I don't know if you could call your happy place, but some place that just gives you a little hope. And I think talking to amazing, strong women has always been just, it's my light.
Right.
And I think that
same. That's why all my best friends are brilliant, strong women.
Yeah, I mean, they're just, and so it was kind of just really an excuse to meet really cool ladies. And and she was one of them. I'm amazed at everything they're doing, and the fact that yeah, it's a hard road, I think, to um, she is on social media. They are, protests are happening. Her and her team are getting assaulted. It's very much real. But she was just, yeah, it's just so very smart and cool. I recommend everybody listen to that podcast because I feel like what I love about doing it is that I think I learned from every single one of them. And I call it "Don't Pretend We're Dead" because it's a play on the L7 song.
Yes, when we pretend that we're dead. That one.
Yeah,
I was wondering if that's where the name
totally,
came.
totally. So I just repurposed it. I mean, I think that was definitely kind of very much a feminist anthem, but just kind of called it "Don't Pretend We're Dead" because I want all of these women to be remembered, and be able to,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's super ear catchy because you hear it and it's jarring, right? Where you're
yeah.
like, wait, what? And then you're like, right, like especially as women's rights are being eroded in real time here in the US, and I don't know as much about what's happening in the UK. It feels very empowering to be like, nope, not dead. It also reminded me of that Monty Python movie, like, I'm not dead yet, when they're like wheeling him out in the wheelbarrow.
Right.
Bring out your dead. And he's like, I think I'm feeling better. And they're like, no, you're dead. But I loved it about women of like our voices are you can't silence them.
Yeah,
I think you
yeah,
picked a great name. As a like fellow podcast nerd, would love to hear more about like you are not using Substack tools for this. These are like how are you recording and how are you spreading the word about Don't
yeah.
Pretend We're Dead?
I use I just record on Zoom, and I do use the podcast hosting feature on Substack. I record on Zoom, and then I do audio, and it's just an audio feed. I because I look at myself in video all day, and I'm like, no. But
Oh my
sometimes,
gosh, stop. You're adorable.
thanks, man. Um, sometimes, yeah. So I use Descript to do audio editing, and then I upload. It's really just me. I'm jealous of your group of two here.
Yes, Lawrence and I have been best friends since the fourth grade. So we go like to say we
Yeah.
go way back is like
Right. Right.
it's an embarrassment versus
47 it's been 47 years.
What?
we've been saying that and I'm realizing our math is slightly off, Lawrence, because we would have been 9. We've been miscalculating this. Anyway, honey, we're so old we can't remember how many years it's been.
Seriously.
But yeah, we go way back to South Florida where we grew up and
Oh damn, we're in South
it
Florida. It's not like I know
um
South Florida, but yeah.
Outside of Fort
southeast Florida.
Lauderdale. It's called
Okay,
Coral
right on,
Springs.
right on.
Yeah.
Sadly, the biggest landmark now is right outside of Parkland. And it's crazy because Parkland was like where the cows were when we were growing up, but that's
Right.
now
Right. Yeah.
tragic.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School is where we would have gone to school. Or I don't know, maybe we wouldn't. Maybe the
Yeah,
lines would.
we would
Yeah.
have
It's where we would have gone to school had we had it opened before we graduated.
Wow.
yeah, we had a classmate who lost a daughter in that one. So that
Oh,
was
man.
yeah. I'm gonna shift topics because that was a hard one. We actually haven't talked about school and gun violence, Lawrence. That might be a good topic one of these days to talk about, but
Yeah.
not today.
All the uplifting things that we
All the
talk
uplifting
about
things we
here
can
on the
talk about.
Daily Whatever Show.
Right. But uplifting women's voices is always tops. First of all, we would love to, if you ever have guests who you're like, you need to talk to this person, please send them our way. Especially women, trans people, like queer folks, like that's our jam. Like we want to elevate the voices who are not getting airtime, especially in this current regime in the US. So if you ever know someone really good, send them our way and we can do the same. Because I love what you're doing. Have we frozen? Oh no, we're good.
Oh, no, thanks. No, I'm not.
Okay, good. No, I'm looking at the two screens and we're like, uh-oh, did we freeze? What are your like 5 years from now? That's too far out. 2 years from now, if this goes really well, what are you
Yeah.
hoping for?
Um, I mean, I think it's hard to think about, much beyond growing your audience. I'm working on a book, but it's not directly related to this.
Mm.
I think I really just want to see I would love to just see a lot of voices in a row. My dream is not to the reason why I have so many categories is because I find women interesting of also, like if you have this dream list of people you want to interview, and it's like I want to interview wrestlers, I want to interview forensic
Excellent.
like psychologists. I want, this whole gamut of really I don't want to I don't want to say like, who are all the people in your neighborhood and all these different things, but I just think it's so interesting. I love hearing what women work on, kind of all the different jobs, how they, how they deal with things as a woman, as how they're
Yeah.
approached, and I just, gosh, what? And questions they're asked about their career, which is interesting to me because
Yeah.
they're questions you wouldn't necessarily ask men. You wouldn't necessarily,
Right.
yeah. Like I still remember. This is gonna sound so weird, but I remember seeing Kim Gordon interviewed when her
Oh,
book came out in Seattle.
yeah.
She was the question was,
Oh
I think
no.
something
Oh no.
about, yeah, you're ready for it, right? And it was like, wouldn't you say your child is your best creative act or
Right.
whatever? Something like that. I was like, man, you would never say that to a dude.
You wouldn't have said,
Right.
yeah, no,
Right.
not in a million
She
years.
was like, no.
Right.
Or
I mean, she's really, I mean, as a mom, I would be like, yes, and that's not what we're here about. Oh my gosh. So Kim Gordon, front woman of Sonic Youth, in
Yeah,
case
yeah.
most don't know that, and like complete badass. She just released a solo album. Was that a year, 2 years ago, I think,
Yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
her 70s. And it's like a killer album.
That is what I've heard. That is what I
It's
haven't
so good.
yeah,
Yeah.
people yeah. Said it's
Yeah.
great. I just
So,
still remember that, and I was like, "Man." So I am kind of interested in how oftentimes we don't really talk about work that much and, what people do. So I kinda do love that idea of getting to see how people approach things in their job, and just questions that I don't know. I'm always sometimes surprised by questions I ask and their answers sometimes you don't expect, or I don't know necessarily what I expect. I remember when I was talking to Olivia Campbell Cavendish, and I was like, "Do you ever get tired having to educate people? Because I feel like it must be
right.
friggin' tiring." And she was like, and it was interesting. She kind of had it's in the podcast, but
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
had
Here, I'm going to
this
put a link to that one in here because I have it open.
yeah, she had this interesting answer, which was like, as a trans woman, I don't because people have so little interaction with trans people. There's so few of us. But, as a woman and as a woman of color, yeah, I get tired of it. You should know better by now.
Right.
There's a lot of us and we've been around. So I think it's just being able to have those conversations that we don't always get to have with people
Yeah.
and with each other, which is really the most exciting part to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
That's why
I
we show up here 6 days a week
right.
to have
I
conversations like this.
and I'm familiar with, like I often joke with people like, being a gay man in the
Yeah,
world, it kind of, I get tired of being the ambassador from Faglandia, like
yeah,
there's kind of constant coming out and constant explaining. And I know my trans friends have said the same, like they get tired of being the ambassador from Translandia.
yeah,
It's like, here are our strange ways and customs. This is
right.
this is how we do things.
Right.
Eh, You
As if
know,
we are a monolith and I'm
right?
the
As if
only,
we are
I speak,
monolithic and I am
I'm the
representing
Lorax.
all
I
of my
speak for the
people.
trees.
It's exhausting, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's why, like, the more we can elevate folks on this show, sorry, my brain's going to do a slight shift, but relevant is the reason I believe the reason that trans folks are so targeted in the US is that most people here don't think they've ever met one. And so to them, they don't really exist. And they are this like scary monolith of like depravity or living against God or some like in their mind, like, predator in the bathroom mythology that's been spread. And it's real hard to feel that way when you're like, oh no, it's just, you know, Fusen and Samantha and Wendy and like all of these folks we've had on our show. It's a lot harder
Right.
to feel that way when you feel like you either know someone in real life or through your screen who you've heard have
Yeah.
a conversation. Then you're like, oh, you're just a normal person living your life, and your path is a little different from mine.
Right.
I mean, that's why marriage equality eventually came to be the law here and hopefully sticks, is like straight people make gay people. So gay people have mothers and fathers who made them. I mean, maybe some of them were queer in some way, but an awful lot of them weren't. And so through loving their children or friends, they came to be like, you know, I want them to have the same rights I do, when it became more acceptable and people came out more. So yeah, that's part of the beauty of having an online platform, is being able to be like, let's have a conversation and get to meet people who are not like maybe people you know in your life.
Yeah. I think something that I've just been kind of wondering, it's been curious, moving across the pond, is, I feel like to me so much is in the US is tied up in the religious right.
Mhm.
But I'm kind of like in the UK, I've talked about this with American friends, with English friends. The religious right is not, there. So I'm like, where is this? I was like, where's all this trans hate coming from? And even talking to Olivia, she was like, a couple of years back, we were not the hot topic. It was a lot easier to move around as a trans person. And she's like, they've just really picked it up. And freaking J.K. Rowling,
Freaking J.K. Rowling.
J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
What the can you imagine having the legacy that she had and destroying it like she has? I just boggles my mind. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
No, it's we're talking about 0.5% of a population,
Right.
right.
like, yeah. So I think that that to me is a little bit interesting, or just kind of weird that they've like really clung to it. A lot of the conservative politicians, but I did have a friend talk to me about how this kind of like, this did not come from the US. This is something that TERFs have been happening in the UK for quite some time, but it's something I'm still learning about.
Yeah, I can only imagine. So two topics out there, two things I want to talk about before we run out of time.
Sure.
The second one will be the question we ask everyone, but before we get to that, I want to ask about your book, because
Okay, sure,
I
yeah.
think there's a lot of folks here who have aspirations about writing books, and I always love to hear more.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do something
yeah.
unconventional, and I'm going to take my phone with me, and we're going to take a small walk because my dog is looking at me with a sense of urgency in her face that I need to let her
No
outside.
worries.
Uh-oh.
Welcome to my messy kitchen, everybody, as we walk. Kira, come this way.
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm still writing it. I'm still working on it with an agent. I haven't submitted it to publishers.
You have an agent?
Yeah, in the UK.
Really?
But,
okay, well, that's huge.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty excited. It's basically personal narrative, but mixed with cultural critique, and it's a bit about the modern single woman identity, which I'm a single woman, and kind of looking at to me, it's almost, I don't know, I feel like a lot of times we're caught between this. And I do think about this with the childless cat lady comments, the spinster comments, etc., the JD Vance. But then on the other hand, there's this rah for singlehood too. And for some reason, I feel like a lot of us are kind of caught in this gap in between, where we want to be like, yeah, love singlehood, but the world hasn't really caught up with the fact that there's so many single people out here, and
Right.
there's almost a bit of a cultural lag. We want to be rah for singlehood, but you're still looked askance as you walk into a restaurant and like want a table for one, even if you're fully comfortable with it, So I think there is a little bit of a cultural lag between where we are and the fact that there's so many single people, and Gen Z and millennials even more, and the fact that we still do have a lot of traditions that haven't quite ridden along with that. So I think it's kind of about being caught in that gap is a little bit what the book is. Yeah.
Oh, I love the
That
premise of
sounds
that.
awesome.
Will you get into I'm interested to hear about the gender gap there of like how men and women of different generations are thriving or not thriving with this new normal. Like that, um, I'm also a single woman and I spend with two daughters. And so I spend
Yeah.
a lot of time thinking about like, right, where, yeah, my brain can go in like 60 different directions, but I love
Right.
where you are going with this of our traditions haven't caught up.
I feel like in some ways, no, like I just read
Mhm.
that article in Vogue, the Our Boyfriend's Embarrassing article
Yes.
that's gone viral.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it seems great, but I don't know, single being a flex. I'd like to say it's a flex, but I'm also going to like work parties and family reunions, and it's not feeling like a flex yet, I gotta say.
Right.
Right.
So,
Right. And I read that article in
yeah,
Vogue and I think that article went viral simply for its title. It was a really good
right,
title. You had to click
yeah,
it, right?
Right.
yeah,
But
right,
I
right.
thought the story was a little like nothing burger. Like there just wasn't a lot. It wasn't very long. And there, if
Yeah,
I'm remembering it correctly, it's been a couple weeks, but I remember being like, oh, there's not like a whole lot here to respond to. But okay, so influencers have to hide when they have boyfriends or people lose followers was kind of my takeaway. Because having a boyfriend has become sort of gauche. And the interesting part of that is the Taylor Swift overlap of like her coming out with this record that's basically just a gush about how happy she is about her fiance's Big Redwood and just it's sort of her giddy era of like I finally found love, and it's very out of step with the cultural moment that we're in of
Right.
yeah.
even like I would like to be in a partnership. Lord knows I would not be bothering with online dating apps because they're time and energy suck.
Yeah,
But
that's our next podcast,
Oh my
Dana.
God.
oh my God, we should I could
You
I
should
we
totally do that. I will
and
listen to
Lawrence
that
is
podcast.
and Lawrence is like, please do not involve me. I do not want to be
Right.
on it.
My gay male experience is diametrically opposed to yeah, like it's a different world. It's a whole new
I
world.
would I would love to get on a separate podcast and talk about that because as someone who has had partners and then not had partners, I've met almost every partner I've ever had. Going all my first boyfriend in Seattle, I met through stranger personal ads when you had to
Oh, yeah.
call and listen to their voicemail message and then leave them a message.
Oh my
No
God,
photos,
yes.
just
It's like
text.
desperately seeking Susan.
It was like desperately seeking Susan, and he was like, I mean, he was very hot and he was great until he wasn't. But we were together for 3 years and we met that way. So, but every time I rejoin, the norms shift, and and you
Yeah.
don't know what the rules are. You just have to jump in and be like, what are people right now? At least in Seattle, among Gen X, are you Gen X or are you
I
millennial?
am Gen X. I am Gen X.
You're
But
the
Yeah.
yeah,
best.
like I'm 76, baby. But like,
All right.
yeah,
1970 babies here, baby. So
there
we're
you
just a little
go. There
older,
you
but
go.
same generation and pretty much same dating pool.
Yes.
Um,
Oh yeah.
the men here are benching at an extraordinary amount. And what classically the term benching means someone who's dating multiple women and like putting them on and off the bench, like
Yep.
playing in the but this is a little different. What I'm getting then just in the last like week or so or month, it's like last few weeks is men who are like, hey, I've already met someone, or there was one who was literally like, I'm already dating enough people that I can't work you in, but you seem really cool and
Did they
fun
say
and
work
like
you in?
good music. I would love to keep chatting with you here. And I'm like, not like there's a Seinfeld quote about like I'm not currently accepting applications for new friends. And I'm not being mean. I have no time, like full-time career job, full-time podcasting job. And also, if you're so otherwise occupied, like, no thanks, I don't want to sit as your backup. And what are you doing sitting on a dating app collecting women when you're supposed to be dating someone? Like I feel bad for the woman you're dating. And but I think that with the abundance of dating apps and the like endless swipes, that's a response to this. And benching might be the wrong term because that already means something else. But I'm just sensing this like I'm just collecting all the women in case what I have doesn't work out. And because I'm lonely and I want interesting women to talk
Right.
to.
Maybe you the new term is collecting, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a little bit like having binders full of women or shelves full of women that you could
It
just be
feels like,
like, oh, these
yeah,
three in active rotation aren't working out, or I'm bored with them, so let me go get one from my
right.
collection.
And even when they are working out, like I still have time on my phone to be chit chatting with you and getting that affirmation.
Right,
It's
right,
like a little, when you said that, Lawrence, I pictured like a 3-year-old boy, could have been a girl, but I was picturing a boy with a bunch of Hot Wheels cars and being like, and that one's mine, and that one, and like other kids are trying to play with them, and they're like, they're all my cars.
right, right.
Work. I think it
Um,
begins and ends with "work you in."
Yeah,
I think
Oh,
that might have been some of the literal language. And I don't know if you heard at the top of the hour, like literally last night, someone wrote me and I was like, oh gosh, his profile looks super cool and fun and what a great guy. And I gave him my burner phone number that I use for such things and just for hello. And he was like, is this Emily or Dana? And I was like, this conversation, am I being unreasonable to be like ick?
yeah.
I feel
No,
like
that sucks.
that's so much ick. Like I literally wrote him back within like 30 seconds, which meant he didn't know it was me. And then he was like, "Oh, but who is Emily? Why did I even write that? Must be my other girlfriend." Ha ha
Right. Oh,
ha.
good cover, bro.
Yeah. No,
yeah,
no
you should have
thanks.
just made up names. It's
Or
John.
should have just been like played along until you figured out who it was. And then that's a funny story of like, I wasn't sure which, like, it would have been pretty clear who it was, I think,
Oh
unless it's having the
God.
exact same conversation, right? But anyways, online dating is rubbish. We should definitely talk about that in another call.
Definitely.
But
In
we
another
do have to
call,
ask you, as a
yeah.
fellow card carrying Gen X member, our big
Mm.
question. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
And I
ready.
already know your answer is going to be good because we talked about this at the start. What is the ultimate Gen X song?
Oh man, I
Yeah,
wish, I ask a question for people and I'm like, well, it's got to be off the tip of your tongue. And now that I'm asked it, I'm like, oh,
right.
uh,
And there's no wrong answers.
No wrong
You can
answers.
name more than one.
I hate to say that Loser is such I
Yeah,
think it really, um, yeah, I know. I'm gonna do boring ones, that are so
so boring.
classic. But I think it's got to be something like I think when I just think of us, I don't know if it's Us Now. There almost needs to
No,
be an Us Now one. I don't know I'm like scared of that song, but I think
you're scared of the Beck song?
no, like what would represent Gen X now, but
Oh, right.
Oh, right.
I
Right,
think
right.
back, when I think of Us, I do think of like Loser or like something like, it's God. I wouldn't even I think any Nirvana song really would have
Yep,
summed us up back in the day. I'm trying to think.
absolutely. It is
Um,
really weird how there was just an era where like everything was about being a loser. There was like No Self-Esteem by The Offspring and Creep by
Creep. Right.
Radiohead. And there were just so many songs that were like, I just suck. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby. That was very much our vibe for a while. And but it was all said with irony, right?
yeah, I would say maybe also Rebel Girl, like,
Oh, that
yeah.
was
Nice.
so good.
I think when you hear that, it's just I don't know. It gets me. It gets me like the first time I heard it.
Yes. Right. Same. And
Yeah,
my daughter found that song on her own and loves it. And I was like, yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I saw Bikini Kill here too with a millennial friend
Nice.
of mine, and
I saw them a couple how long ago
yeah,
was it? A couple of years ago at Marymore Park.
yeah,
What is time? Post pandemic. So somewhere in
yeah.
that range. And they were still really good.
Awesome. Yeah, no, always amazing.
Yeah. And I saw, oh, you would love this. Kathleen Hanna, she wrote a book.
Mhm.
And she came as part of Seattle Arts and Lectures to Town Hall, and Lindy West was the moderator.
They
So
must have killed it.
it
Oh
was
my God.
so good. Lindy West and Kathleen Hanna was just like sold out, of course, and the coolest looking crowd you've ever seen in your life.
I don't think it gets cooler than that.
Mm,
Kathleen Hanna is so friggin' funny. The women in L7 are so I don't know. There was always something that I know we gotta go, but I just think
it's okay.
not enough is written about how there's so many funny feminists, and I feel like it
Yeah.
is not like highlighted enough. They are hilarious.
Right, because we're known for being feminist killjoys, but
Exactly, but
in
hilarious.
actuality, we use humor to deal with very shitty situations, and so we are very biting and funny,
Definitely.
Yeah.
right?
Great. Well, I
This has been
enjoyed this.
Karina, this was
me.
so much fun. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for coming and joining us today.
This was so much fun. Hold on, I'm gonna grab before we go. I'm gonna grab which do I link? I'm gonna link them all. Put the link to "Don't Pretend We're Dead" in the chat once more. Go follow Karina's work and subscribe, follow, put little hearts and cheers on all the good work you're doing. I'm so glad we got a chance to just sit and talk after like living in adjacent circles for all these years.
Me too. And Lawrence, it's so great to meet you too. Are you also
Likewise.
in Seattle?
He
Well, I'm
was.
actually in Indiana now. I'm near my family, but I lived in Seattle for 30 years and it's home. Like
Yeah.
I miss it so much. Um, but hey, next time we're in London, we absolutely have to hang out.
Absolutely.
The good
Yeah.
Let's
incentive to
meet.
get overseas. Yeah.
It really is. Oh my gosh. Well, enjoy being on the other side of the Atlantic for all its
Y'all are coming
problems.
over, man. Y'all are coming over.
We will come
My
over.
older daughter is looking at colleges and she is a dual Irish US citizen and will apply to a few in the EU, but I don't know.
Excellent.
It's a pretty big stretch to think about going over there and then would we all go over there and it's a whole thing. But um definitely to visit. Definitely to visit. So
Excellent.
yes, thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us. It's been another delightful hour spent with all of you. I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll be back Monday bright and early for another week of the Daily Whatever Show.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Love you, mean
Karina.
it.
Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Love you, Nina. Bye.
Bye.
Mwah.
Bye.